Before the ancient castle, overgrown with ivy, I surveyed my domain from atop my faithful warhorse, the scent of dew and moss thick in the morning air. My arrow flew fast and true, striking the sprinting wolf. As it tumbled, my loyal hunting dogs shot past, driven by instinct to finish the hunt I'd begun. 15 minutes later, the exhausted hunting dogs returned with the wolf's corpse, pride in their posture, as they dropped it before my horse's hooves. 6 loyal soldiers stood behind me, their worn cloth armor and farming tools making it painfully clear how far our fortunes had fallen since my father's death. Robert, my ever-reliable attendant, knelt by the wolf's corpse and expertly slit its throat with his ornate dagger, collecting the dark blood as I watched. When Robert asked if the wolf's blood would cure Warwick, I could only reassure him. The weight of hope and desperation pressed down on both of us. I steeled myself. This was the final ingredient for the werewolf curse antidote, a risky formula my AI had pieced together from fragments in ancient tomes. Inwardly, I commanded the AI within me to analyze the data again, its cyan system UI flickering across my mind with impossible clarity and precision. My AI displayed my stats in crisp light. 16 years old, average body, but my mental strength far outstripped any ordinary person's, my one true advantage in this world. It's been 5 long years since I transmigrated here, taking on my predecessor's name and all the burdens of the Peter barony. At just 11, all I inherited was a curse. I remember my father's return, borne home on a stretcher, skin blackened, voice wild with warnings. A curse for those who plundered ancient tombs and their children. After my father died, our barony unraveled. Once we had towns, villages, and loyal knights. Now barely a manor and a single poverty-stricken village remain. Our knightly vassals and our trading town turned their backs, each becoming independent, leaving me surrounded by debt, disloyalty, and endless obligations. What I got was crushing debt. 30,000 gold owed for a town that won't even pay taxes or listen to my commands, only a pittance and mounting shame. My loyal steward Warwick returned broken from negotiations, lying injured in our crumbling manor. Without him, the dangers threatening us would be far worse. I once dreamed of joining the Storm Knights, but faith never came easily to me. Instead, logic and the AI's data steered me toward the hidden truths of wizards. Knights possessed godlike strength and ruled with iron fists, but their power was bound by faith and fleeting life, a fact I could not risk for mere prestige. Instead, I relied on my mental strength enhancement elixir. Each day for 2 years, I drank the swirling potion, feeling my mind sharpen until I saw the world anew. With the last ingredient gathered and my resolve renewed, I ordered Robert to return to the castle. At last I had found hope, no matter how faint. For all of us. My hunting dogs led the way home, soldiers falling into formation behind me. I refused to let fear or fate define us. My will, honed through reason, would forge our future. Alone in the manor attic, I instructed Robert to guard the door outside. My father left Robert to me, a tireless guardian, loyal as a brother after years in our service. With a data stream flickering in my left eye, I scanned the cluttered attic. AI, activate auxiliary control mode. Any error could doom the potion. Precision was paramount tonight. Display the formula for the werewolf curse potion, I commanded. AI panels floated before me, outlining 4 risky formulas. Only one let me keep my mind. Show advanced werewolf intelligence formula, I decided. Only the most difficult path allowed me to transform yet remain myself, my will, human and unbroken. Fire roared in the cauldron, wolfsbane, night-blooming vine, evening primrose, each herb entered with precise care, then the iron, lead, copper powders in careful measure. I opened the window, letting moonlight spill onto my workspace. The moon's energy would blend with the potion, magic absorbed through ritual, not spell. For years I'd bolstered my mental strength with elixirs. Tonight, I hoped my efforts and the AI's research would be enough for true wizardry. With sure hands I added Silver Lotus, the crucial catalyst. Instantly, the potion shimmered, swirling from green to a dazzling silvery green, bathing me in strange visions. My mind filled with howls and bloody hallucinations. I steadied shaky hands, trusting the AI. Analyze these visions, I ordered, heart pounding, yet fingers always precise. 2 hypotheses. Magical energy in the air causing interference, or, far more alluring, the process was awakening true magical power in my mind as I brewed. Hesitant, I held my breath as instructed, yet visions lingered, only lessened. I realized my mental strength was evolving. I was stepping toward true magecraft. I lifted a heavy bucket of wolf's blood, the ritual's most potent sacrament, and poured it in. Instantly, the cauldron's contents roared and frothed like fire meeting oil. Visions seized me, a wolf pack, moonlight dappled, circling as if I were their destined alpha. My potion's power hung on a single drop of noble blood. Suppressing pain, I drew a drop of my blood with a pin and let it fall in. Then, wincing, I cast 5 treasured gold coins into the roiling brew. As moonlight flooded the attic, I stepped back. For an hour, I let the magic of the moon finish what mortal hands could not, alchemy now at its end. At dawn, I decanted the radiant red gold potion into glass bottles. 5 vessels shimmered on my desk, a curse or salvation, glimmering with the promise of transformation. Gazing at the potions, I wondered, could this truly force a man to become a werewolf? Even as creator, doubt and awe warred in my mind at this forbidden fruit. Just then, I raised my hand at the dusk candle, focusing my will. I watched the flame dance under my thought alone, a chill thrill of magic's reality. AI, analyze. The interface calculated rapidly. My new power was measurable, regenerative, true magic, converted from the strength I'd only ever built with potions before. I ordered Robert to keep watch, tucked a potion in my coat, and hurried toward the butler's room. With hope and dread, I prepared to test my creation at last. In the dim light of Warwick's room, I watched the old butler lying gravely ill, his breathing shallow. No medicine seemed strong enough to save him from nature's final verdict. No matter the doctor's skills, at 83, Warwick's body neared its final limits. Even the capital's finest could offer only words of resignation and comfort. Perla, our loyal headmaid, quietly directed the other maids as they cleaned Warwick's bedside, placing lavender in a vase, perhaps to ease both pain and spirit for him. For the first time, Warwick seemed truly afraid of death. He stared blankly at the ceiling, perhaps grappling with what it meant to leave his young master behind forever. I watched Warwick stretching his thin hand upward, barely whispering a desperate prayer to the storm god, a plea for the life he was so close to losing tonight. Perla interrupted the moment, gently announcing my arrival. Her loyalty shone even in her steady voice, a pillar for the crumbling order I'd inherited too young. Warwick grabbed my hand, speaking with a sudden urgency. I stayed calm, already preparing to analyze his condition with my artificial intelligence system's support. He wanted me to sell the domain, abandon these lands, and purchase a quieter life, free of debts and danger. But I couldn't accept such surrender, not now. His words were heavy, urging me to run, to trade heritage for safety. I opened my potion, steady hands affirming my resolve for both our sakes. I poured my experimental potion into Warwick's mouth, determined to prove my new power. This was more than survival. It was a turning point for all our futures. Though wary, I reminded myself this land holds meaning for Warwick and Perla. Abandoning it to start over in Stormhold would betray everything they'd sacrificed for our family. Warwick blinked in confusion as color returned to his cheeks, skin smoothing, strength blooming. My potion worked faster than even I'd hoped, a marvel and possibly a threat. Full moonlight spilled across the floor as I issued a mental command. AI, track every detail of Warwick's surging transformation. He would be my Werewolf Legion Subject 1. No wizards remained here, only my intelligence and AI stood between us and the unknown. My research into potions would become the bridge to our resurgence, or our ruin. Still, I could not focus solely on the future. I needed power for myself as well as my servants. The werewolf army would only be the beginning of my ambitions. I told Perla to send the maids away, sparing them the sight of what might come. She obeyed without hesitation, her trust a silent strength in this night of uncertainty. As the last maid left, Warwick noticed what I had seen, his body changing under the full moon's glow. Fear and amazement danced across his now bright eyes. I saw Warwick's shadow on the wall, no longer human but that of a wolf. The early signs of the werewolf potion's magic sent chills down even my rational spine. Master Sunan, does this mean your wizardry research is real? Warwick's words trembled as his features shifted between wolf and man, golden eyes wide with wonder. I nodded, watching as Warwick, now the world's first true werewolf, mastered his new form. The potion was flawless. He could shift at will, our first true success. At Perla's request, I brewed her a werewolf potion, knowing the intelligence core would collect precious data from her transformation to serve my ongoing research. As Perla drank, I watched her regain dazzling youth. Wrinkles faded, old scars vanished, her hair regained a glossy sheen, and she burst into joyous laughter at her reflection. Soon Perla, radiant and youthful, began dressing up again. Whispers of envy swirled among the castle maids, who constantly pestered her for her secret to a second youth. Now, with both my butler and headmaid transformed, my domain's inner circle boasted werewolves in every crucial managerial role, all loyal to me. With the intelligence core accelerating potion development, a leadership-grade werewolf potion tailored for me was underway, one designed for true command and power. The intelligence core warned me, magic systems could conflict with werewolf genes. To prevent this, it implanted a human virtual machine module beside my spine. This innovation meant I could remain entirely human, yet transform at will, a werewolf leader when needed, maximizing my army's effectiveness without losing my magic. With this edge, I focused resources on strengthening our forces. The wealthy rebels of Maple Leaf Town could wait until my army was truly overwhelming. 2 weeks on, I stood in the castle's attic, brewing the new messenger variant of the werewolf curse potion. Its green-gold glow promised further advances. With bottles in hand, I turned to my loyal German shepherds. Their trust was clear as I administered the potion, never suspecting how their world would change. They whimpered and snarled as bones shifted beneath fur. The transformation was painful and rapid. Soon, 2 upright, gold-eyed messenger werewolves stood before me. I felt a new mental bond form. Their obedience was absolute. The messenger werewolves stared at me with total trust, awaiting their first command. I ordered the intelligence core to collect all data, then listened as it summarized their stats and pack-oriented traits. Small, agile, mind of a young teen, but fierce. A flood of stats filled my vision. Age 3 years, strength 1.5, speed 2.5 with rapid healing and fire, silver weaknesses. They'd follow orders and feared nothing. I ruffled their fur as they purred and wagged, creatures of battle, yet still impossibly canine, eager for affection. Their loyalty felt absolute, their obedience unshakable. Despite their new form, they still rolled over and showed their bellies. Pure instinct. I sighed and requested them to return to their dog shape for dignity's sake. After shifting back to dog form, they leapt up and licked my boots in adoring delight. Their simpler shapes far easier on the eyes when seeking affection. Messenger potions cost barely a gold each, unlike the pricey advanced formula. Dogs, not humans, did the heavy lifting. My plans for an army were finally affordable. Leaving the attic with my 2 loyal hounds at heel, I encountered Warwick marching in, fit and eager even as bad news flickered behind his fanged smile. With a tense edge, Warwick delivered his report. Our village had been raided by ruthless bandits, and one woman's infant brother was taken as a hostage. Peering through rain-soaked glass, I spotted a trembling village girl. Her drenched form spoke of desperation and fear. She clung to hope, shivering in the castle yard. Despite custom, I ordered her admitted, Perla to clothe her warmly. Warwick balked at the breach but relented, moved by my decree to put the domain above old faiths. Letting a law god believer inside startled Warwick, but I reminded him, the Peter's domain comes first, faith is secondary. Our power relied on unity, not exclusion. Instructions given, I tasked Warwick and Madame Perla to clothe and welcome her, then demanded a map of the bandits' lair. We would strike back, my werewolves ready. My blood stirred as Warwick prepared. He'd finally fight freely. The bandits' camp sat atop a forested highland, a formidable challenge, and the perfect test for my werewolves. Counselors colluding with bandits was shocking to Warwick and Perla, but I simply noted it as another pattern of noble scheming. I'd seen far worse in rival domains. Schemes like these never rattled me. Maple Leaf Town feared their autonomy lost to me. But tonight, when the bandits fell, fear would shift onto my enemies instead. The sky is dark now, Wolf 1 advance. I gave my command quietly. My hunting hound, lean and alert, melted into the forest as the operation began. Robert once tried and failed to storm the stronghold. The twin watchtowers, strategic with crossfire and barricades, had crushed every conventional assault before tonight. Braincore, begin recording, Wolfpack 1. Through mana links, fragmented images from the werewolf's sight flickered behind my eyes, enough for data and control. Wolf 1 tracked a sentry through the overgrown shadows. The bandit's eyes widened in terror, veiled by night, just before claws struck, ending him quickly and quietly. The werewolf scaled the palisade in near silence, sinew and fur blending into dark timber. The bandits had no clue that death was already stalking their stronghold's heart. My left eye's readout danced with confirmation. Stealth, lethal, performance matches potion theory. No alarm yet. Werewolf and darkness conspired for perfect invisibility. Warwick's observation echoed. The hound's been spotted. Above, chaos erupted as the werewolf swept up the first tower, taking 5 archers before they could fire a volley. The final archer toppled a torch in desperation, flames licking up the dry timbers. My werewolf howled at the sudden blaze. Fire was their mana's ancient enemy. From the burning pyre, my werewolf launched at the second tower, its speed ruthless and its form monstrous. All subtlety vanished as the assault exploded into chaos. Now the camp was in chaos. The burning tower's glow drew frantic screams, and through my werewolf's sight, each bandit's fear pulsed like a beacon in the night. The watchtower guards rained arrows down. Iron tips struck true, but each shaft bounced from werewolf muscle, forcing the truth into their eyes, a beast beyond reason. They saw the truth as Wolf 1 reached their level. Not even arrows, it shrugs them off. Panic rippled. My creature cut savagely, 1 strike for each human throat. Those who survived the first slash fell to ruthless stomps, spines shattered beneath crushing werewolf strength. Numbers, speed, and terror were my weapon this night. The creature outclassed even strong men. My baseline, 1.5 times greater in strength and endurance than a healthy trained adult, rendered these starving criminals utterly defenseless. A single command, Ignite the second tower. My werewolf obeyed, toppling torches and flames. The era of bandit raiders, fortified behind timber walls, ended here, at my whim. At the campfire's heart, their leader gawked in horror as the beast cut through his men. A lifetime as outlaw failed to prepare him for monsters shaped by my science. Iron swords, blunt spears, worthless. The werewolf flung 2 bandits aside with a sweep, then leapt behind the melee, slaughtering with surgical speed and merciless instinct. Every move followed my intent. Leap, kill, withdraw. Darkened by destruction, I couldn't deny the awe at my own creation's efficiency, a perfect cold engine of the night. Its resilience unsettled me even now. Few knights could hold up to such relentless force. The supernatural wasn't lore, it was my answer to years of mundane failure. The bandit leaders shout, "Fire!" The beast fears fire, snapped his men from terror to chaos, torches flaring as desperate hands found the only weapon left with hope. At my signal, I loosed a second beast, another werewolf messenger. This broke what little order the bandits had left. A horde of 2 erased hope from their eyes. Bandit lines fractured. Some dropped spears and torches, fleeing for the shadows. Their leader, jaw clenched, glared at me from the flames, his reign unraveling by supernatural hands. Wide-eyed, the bandit leader let dread show. Whose curse did I earn? Storm god, law god. Am I only prey after all? His legend would die here in firelight. Within 10 minutes, the camp was chaos. Every bandit caught between flight and death, festival laughter drowned in blood, limbs scattered as survival replaced resistance. The instant the towers fell, the outpost's fate was sealed. The bandit leader's roar echoed as his flaming broadsword slashed the messenger werewolf's shoulder, leaving a gory gash. My messenger werewolf's claws lashed at his chest in return. To my surprise, the leader endured. His chainmail dampened the blow, and pain only tightened his grim stance. Through my mental link, I scanned the leader's stats. The readings nearly matched Robert's. He wasn't just some brute, he trained as a squire, likely one of Law's own. Interesting. This was my chance. I told Wolf Alpha not to dodge, but to trade blow for blow. Let him fight a true squire head-on. The test had begun. They exchanged injuries, flesh torn, chainmail shredded, but my werewolf healed rapidly, wounds sealing before the leader's tired eyes. His despair deepened at each impossible recovery. Was I fighting an immortal monster? The more I pressed, the more hopeless it felt, until I slashed with my flaming sword, fire searing the werewolf's claw. I saw hope flicker in the bandit's eyes. For a moment, he believed fire could halt the beast's regeneration, maybe even grant him victory amid this chaos. But then, 2 enormous, more terrifying werewolves approached from the shadows, power radiating from every step. Any hope at surviving the messenger evaporated instantly. The pale merchant at his side stammered, I'm Maple Leaf Town's mayor's son. Protect me, and you'll have anything you want," as if wealth could block monster claws. With no hope left, the bandit lashed out wildly. Even splitting the messenger werewolf's skull did nothing. Monstrous wounds sealed instantly as claws rose for the kill. "Wolf Alpha, stop." "That's enough," I ordered, stepping forward from the shadows. These test subjects were rare. I wanted Warwick and Perla to try their strength against a squire too. Astonished, I watched my monsters instantly shrink, fur receding to become sleek hunting dogs who immediately scrambled to my side, competing for my affection on blood-soaked soil. The bandits stared at me in horror, realizing I was truly their master. In a single night, years of ruthless work had been undone by my loyal, monstrous creations. He saw it then, the little baron. Trying to laugh it off, he pieced together which monsters I commanded. Even the butler and headmaid had become nightmares. The merchant crawled at my feet, pleading for mercy, vowing to make Maple Leaf's mayor surrender, promising anything. I let his cries echo, unmoved, weighing my victory in silence. Quietly, I ordered my mental assistant to analyze flaws in my messenger werewolf's performance. A review of wounds left unfinished and trouble breaking through shielded foes. System recommendations rolled in. Steel-hard claws to shatter armor, venom to cripple defenses. A new wave of enhancements forming as stray flames guttered in the camp around me. I documented the werewolf's combat. Then, as ordered, Perla and Warwick executed the broken leader and the terrified merchant, ending an era of predation with brutal efficiency. It ended so quickly, my victory nearly effortless. The age of magic was overwhelming. My mind already turned to Maple Leaf Town, the next step in my relentless experiment. Turning to Warwick, I ordered him to search the camp for anything wizard-related. Each clue unearthed would bring my werewolf army another step closer to perfection. Years ago, Baron Peter built Maple Leaf Town with royal funds. Its planned layout and crisp red brick walls always struck me as forced, never truly home. The corpses arrived, one carried my hopes, the other a bandit's threat now silent forever. Rage and loss pounded in my head as Donnet muttered empty prayers. Donnet's condolences faltered. The weight of my son's death poisoned every word. Even the storm priest's presence did little to ease the poisonous ache in my chest. If faith could return the dead, I'd have begged for it. I lashed out in my despair, words landing sharp and blasphemous before I caught myself. Pride and pain warring inside me. My mind whirled. Who had done this? Animal wounds, wolf bites, questions I demanded no one here could answer. The priest examined the carnage in cautious disbelief. Wolf marks, jaws, and terror. Donnet tried to rationalize, but nothing made sense. All explanations rang hollow. Even the priest was left speechless by the wounds. Searching to blame, I theorized about wolf-like weapons. Anything to give my rage a target. No one here could explain, which only sharpened my grief. Hope and suspicion warred. Maybe the young baron had somehow orchestrated this. Yet even I recoiled from the thought. My son's killer must be someone else, someone stronger. Desperation hardened my resolve. Guilty or not, I swore the baron would pay. The others wisely stayed silent. Politics too fragile, my anger too volatile for challenge. The others weighed their words. Shokat's threats now threatened the balance of the council. Even Donnet and the storm priest understood challenging him was useless, while his grief raged. Donnet's hands shook a little as he studied the clawed corpses. Terror lingered on the faces of the dead, making me wonder what they'd seen in their last moments. A high priest ruled the district. Shouldn't that mean all supernatural threats were contained? Still, doubt gnawed as I watched my son's lifeless form. Storm God's will questioned. Atop my tower, satisfaction simmered inside me. I'd consumed the mental strength elixir, raising my power, even as Jinao's analysis explained an unexpected surge. Magic shared through my werewolf's hunt. Jinao explained. The wolf-pack effect shared magical energy from kills. With full moonlight tied to the potion, every werewolf kill now fueled my mental strength in small increments. My mental strength climbed to 8.8, close but not wizard level. I urged Jinao on, demanding progress. Last night's haul, books and bandit gold, had also pushed recipe research forward. Deciphering the ancient books, Jinao reconstructed 2 complete potion recipes, discarding misleading traps. I felt the thrill of discovery. Each secret rebuilt my future 1 layer at a time. 7 formulas discarded as traps. What survived was gold, a glimpse of wizard structure, 3 grades of apprentices, hidden ranks, and the need for rare promotion potions. Mental strength 10 might meet a wizard apprentice's standards, but Jinao's warnings kept me cautious. Wizards likely exceeded me by far. Doubt remained my closest companion. Jinao revealed the reconstructed recipes, Slumberbug Potion and Sacrificial Hand Potion, one for controlling foes, the other for granting power beyond human limits, if I dared attempt it. The Slumberbug Potion recipe was simple: forest plants, a cricket, and a silver coin. Its mist could put enemies to sleep, but required mana to brew. My transformation toward wizardry advanced. I questioned why mana was needed now, no answer yet, but every recipe nudged me closer to true magic. Even potions could transform the soul, not just the flesh. The Sacrificial Hand Potion offered telekinesis after 3 nights' agony. If I could gather rare herbs, minerals, and 10 gold, power could truly be bought in blood. Gold for magic. Potion costs stung, but secrets tasted sweeter than regret. These new powers would demand risks, and all of Maple Leaf's marketplace would soon be my hunting ground. Tonight, my hunting dogs would shadow Maple Leaf's trade routes. My message, let the guilty feel hunted, carried in every silent command I offered these loyal creatures. Retribution must wait, but in the dusk I plotted each counter, letting pain and power intertwine, knowing only magic, cunning, and careful patience would grant my victory. I pressed the smart brain further. Was there any clue if wizards lived on, or if magic still slept somewhere in the blood-soaked corners of this world? As I opened the ancient journal, my artificial intelligence flickered to life, deciphering encrypted patterns only a machine mind could detect within the holy text's monotony. The cipher was intricate. Without my AI's help, no ordinary soul would ever unveil what lay buried in these lines, the true testament of the Azure Wizard. This is a contingency, the Azure Wizard had written, leaving a last safeguard for a land he'd given up as barren, abandoned, but not forgotten entirely. If ever disaster returns, this land will be defenseless, but perhaps as the seasons turn, magic will rise again, like an unstoppable tide. Yet beware, what's sealed beneath St. Sophia Cathedral could also reawaken. Protect the cathedral at all costs. If it endures, our peril slumbers with it. The wizard's testament concluded. If help was needed, travel to Constantinople's library. Book 1023 concealed a final legacy. Few clues, but hope flickered. I exhaled, surveying the Azure Wizard's truths. Their migration left the Storm Kingdom shackled, merely a medieval world without magic, ruled instead by mortal politics. If tides of magic were truly returning, then my powers were more than a fluke. They were a herald of change in the balance of this slumbering land. The journal's warning about what lay beneath St. Sophia Cathedral gnawed at me. What was sealed there, and what kind of power might it unleash? I considered traveling to Stormhold, formerly Constantinople, but still owed the royal family a king's ransom. Simple curiosity might lead to iron chains instead. For now, I chose the practical path, carefully memorizing the hidden places the wizard described, planning to seek treasures only when the time was right. I handed Warwick a list of rare potion ingredients. 2 new recipes demanded materials even the Peter Domain's stores could not provide, without risking exposure. Use any means, I told Warwick. He understood my resolve. For me, every resource was justified, so long as we obtained what was needed for my next experiments. Warwick's answer was bold. Let us raid Maple Leaf's convoys. Why pay taxes to fatten traders? This is our land. We take what is ours by right. I did not disagree. As long as my goals were met, the law of necessity reigned. I sent Warwick on his errand with stern warning. Be cautious. For 5 months, Maple Leaf Town's convoys bled losses almost daily, driving the merchants and Mayor Shokat into desperate disputes. Suspicion dug deeper each day. At council meetings, the Fur Guild head challenged Shokat. If you cannot protect us, why pay trade taxes? Perhaps it's time to seek the true Lord's protection. Merchants began whispering about appealing to me, the young baron, for justice. Shokat tried to bluff, but the Fur Guild head's words cut through his composure. Shokat's confidence rebounded as he pulled his trump card. To protect us, I have allied with Gus Pasha. The room froze at that infamous name. The council room's doors thundered open. Gus Pasha entered, taller than any knight, steel sheathed like a living fortress, smiling genially as if he owned the place. Gus Pasha declared, with me here, rest easy. I'll expose the truth behind these monster tales, real or fabricated. With that, the balance had shifted again. Summer dawned across Baron Peter's lands, a new chapter after 5 months of relentless raids, potion hunting, and strategic gathering. My preparations had finally matured. I stirred the cauldron one last time and watched as the green poison formed. Wolfsbane, rare and costly, was its keystone. Impossible to obtain but vital for this concoction. After dropping in a gold coin, I bottled the Wolfsbane potion, 5 vials in total. My crowded cabinet now boasted Steel Claw, Slumberbug, and mental strength elixirs too. Steel Claw potions, their power drawn from iron-eating leopard claws, felt like forbidden alchemy, especially after that inevitable gold coin vanished beneath the surface. By crafting these potions, I'd converted mental strength into mana, almost reaching 10 and 7 respectively. My progress was scientific, but the costs were mounting daily. The assistant's formulas demanded gold, always gold. Yet every new brew brought a hunger for licorice, ginseng, or wild vervain, each resource cost multiplying the wizard's burden. I weighed out options: invest in territory to secure a steady cricket supply, or buy up wild batches while they lasted. Even basic ingredients posed relentless challenges. To grow as a wizard, I had to mass-produce ingredients: licorice, ginseng, vervain, or hunt mythical beasts no one dared tame. The sheer expense dwarfed every system calculation. Even slumberbug potions, made of simple crickets, were prey to the seasons. Without subordinates or land, I'd always be just one step from starvation. So much for simple alchemy. Wondering about potion strengths, I asked the assistant for a briefing. Steel Claw was simple, but Wolfsbane's link to vervain made the herb werewolf's best possible antidote. The assistant detailed 2 solutions: layer other toxins atop wolves' claws to overwhelm vervain, or unlock higher potion forms by first evolving the original werewolf curse. With only incomplete upgrades at hand, I had my trusted hounds, butler, and headmaid ingest the new potions, filling their blank skill slots, however temporary my fix was. Each higher-grade elixir came with rarer materials and crueler trial. No matter what secrets I obtained, my reach in this magic-famished land was still painfully short. I wiped the cauldron spotless, poured in fresh water, and set the flames anew. This time, everything was ready for the riskiest pursuit of all: the sacrificial hand potion. I donned black snakeskin gloves before handling the lethal components. Most ingredients could kill with a touch. I couldn't risk my own life recklessly on wizard arrogance. To the AI assistant, I spoke. List all predicted dangers of the sacrificial hand potion again. Each threat scrolled across the panel, growing more ominous with every line. I learned most ingredients were toxic, concoctions unstable, and the cost wasn't just gold. Past formulas could drain years of life. With this one, just a week if I was lucky. What's a week for the possibility of true power? I breathed steady, locked my mind, preparing to wield telekinesis, even if magic might burn my soul worse than poison. On assistant's command, my body shifted into millisecond precision. Each nerve and muscle moved as if programmed. Scientific obsession overtook all ordinary emotion for the next hours. Belladonna, foxglove, mistletoe. I added them one at a time, then measured out elderberry, 10 grams after 7 boilings. The fluid turned black and roared with hidden flames. As I worked, a vision seized me, a soul tormented in fire shrieking as it dissolved. The illusion felt so real, the suffering, the agony. Yet my resolve refused to bend. Even as a taunting voice whispered, I banished the doubts. Cognitive assistant confirmed, These illusions, remnants of old wizards, were mental burdens, useless for true creation. My mental strength burned into new mana, the elixir complete and gleaming. With a trembling hand, I knew I'd created something dangerous, and I was ready for the burden. Today, I hid inside a carriage, rocking through the mud. The talkative coachman kept chatting, hinting at local dangers around Peter's domain. He had no idea what I sensed ahead. Urging caution, the coachman promised safety if we stuck to the usual road. But I could feel it, a malicious aura swirling around Peter's castle like poison. Rather than trust local hearsay, I relied on my senses. Dark energy clung to the fortress ahead. I decided the carriage would avoid that route, though the coachman protested. Thinking aloud, I marveled at the audacity. Some evil had managed to root itself undetected, even under the storm god's supposed gaze. I'd avoid direct conflict for now. Whoever held that sinister power? I couldn't predict their strength from afar. What mattered most, my mission couldn't be derailed by outside interference. Not now. Meanwhile, in my attic lab I sprinkled elderwood powder as the cauldron whirled into a vortex. Each step was crucial. Alchemy resisted chaos with precision and will. Following the recipe, I tossed malachite, lapis lazuli, hematite, and labradorite into the vortex. They dissolved, and for a heartbeat, everything shimmered with potential. Alchemy's doors creaked open. Precisely 3 seconds after the minerals vanished, I cast in 10 gold coins. The transformation happened instantly, coins swallowed by alchemy, gel rising from chaos. As the last echoes of alchemical whispers faded, power stabilized in the air. I carefully divided the gel potion into 3 vials. Ritual completed. The AI system UI evaluated my work, perfect quality, still diminishing returns. If you want more, plan for higher-tiered elixirs. My mana touched the cusp of a true wizard's. To evolve beyond perfect quality, I'd need greater knowledge, maybe even start from scratch, simulating formula after formula until my elixir surpassed current limits. Fortunately, Maple Leaf Town's library, richest in the region, might supply the knowledge I couldn't glean from bandit scraps or sorceress experiments. My future as a wizard waited there. Uncorking a vial, I poured sacrificial hand potion over the back of my left hand. A burning sensation shot through me, hotter than any fever or scald. The gel clung to my skin like tenacious glue, sticky but not restrictive. Daily use for 3 days would trigger my hand's transformation, as dictated by the recipe. I gathered batches of 3 crucial potions. Crossing paths with a kitchen maid, I ordered her to summon Warwick and Perla, preparing the next stage of my plan. In the study, I commanded 2 loyal hunting dogs, soon messenger werewolves, to drink wolfsbane and steelclaw potions under open daylight, knowing power must be visible to all. I ordered a strength test. The messenger werewolves lashed at a captive rooster, sparking fury among its flock. Perla's astonishment showed the breakthrough's real power. Impressed, I handed potions to Perla and Warwick. Upon drinking, their bodies trembled, latent dark magic surging. I was dragging them deeper, preparing my own inner circle. Warwick grinned, reporting on local politics in Maple Leaf Town, its elders soon beset by 3 rival knights. Fools plotting against me deserved more than a simple rebuke. I weighed my options. Should I retaliate now or wait? Even a lion spares no effort with a rabbit. Timing was everything. I wouldn't move too soon. Before battle, my personal strength needed fortification. Building 12 messenger werewolves from loyal hunting dogs would soon tip the balance. Wolf 1 and 2 would lead their kin. With these 12 werewolves and improved potions, I would crush all resistance in Maple Leaf Town. Why hurry? I had every reason to become truly unstoppable now. 3 days passed with me locked in my study, brewing the messenger variant of Werewolf Curse potion, and using the potent sacrificial hand potion, perfecting every detail obsessively, vial by vial. As 10 hunting dogs sat nearby, their wary eyes trained on me, I ensured my potion would secure their loyalty. Better dogs than men. Loyalty was their truest instinct. By the 3rd night, successful completion of the sacrificial hand potion rewarded me with a blood-red inverted cross that burned into my palm. At my command, it would vanish or blaze forth. Just as I flexed my hand, eager to test the mark's power, a sharp knock at my study door shattered my concentration. Caution prickled up my neck. To my surprise, Father Louis entered, elderly, cloaked in clerical garb, his eyes shrewd. Church and family entangled in him like 2 warring spirits beneath a smiling mask. He wasted no words, declaring, "Lord Sunan, I've heard rumors, wolves howling at night, unusual things happening near the church." My heart hammered once, then steadied. Feigning a lazy smile, I replied, "Uncle Louis, perhaps just a wandering pack of wolves." I kept careful watch for any hint of suspicion in his tone or bearing. But he pressed on, voice harder. "More wolves by my church. Perla and Warwick seem younger. Do not take me for a fool, my lord." My blood chilled just a touch. He accused, "You've been researching dark magic, haven't you?" The hunger in his eyes warred with a priest's hesitation, a plea mixed with threat in every word. He coughed, excitement spilling over, If you possess such magic, think of what it means for the Peter family. Do not forget your uncles, Sunan. Ambition flashed across his wrinkled face. My mind raced. Father Louis had shielded me before, balancing faith and blood, but his greed was dangerous. Excessive ambition brought disaster to those who reached too high, too soon. Out loud, I insisted. You're overthinking things, uncle. Such magic doesn't exist, nor would I risk the Peter family's inheritance for dark arts. It would mean losing my domain. He drew back as if doused with icy water. You're right. I was rash. Family interests first. You really have grown, Sunan. Sincerity and wounded pride flickered in his eyes. With a final look, Father Louis said, You should visit Julia. She is your cousin, and has had much trouble lately. Show her you care. Family matters in times like these. After Father Louis left, his words churned in my head. Family could be both shield and blade. Today it was both. I left my study, determined to check on Julia. I crossed the halls, passing through the castle's armory, heavy scent of oil, iron, and leather, when the sound of rummaging behind a thick wooden door made me freeze. Heart thudding, I called out, Who's in there? The clatter stopped. Only cautious footsteps sounded through the silence. I raised my left hand, prepared to act without hesitation. As I slowly raised my left hand, feeling power thrum through my veins, I realized the sacrificial hand potion could sacrifice my health for alarming increases in telekinesis strength. The artificial intelligence speculated a permanent injury might multiply telekinesis strength to terrifying levels. Was this potion designed for the suicidally loyal wizards of old? I stepped forward, and from 4 meters away, pressed a perfect palm print onto the warehouse's wooden door, telekinesis opening it with force that felt both magical and real. As the door swung open, a swift shadow burst out, a bearded squire in chainmail stabbing toward empty space behind the door. I watched, recognizing danger and intent. Seeing no one behind the door, the squire cried out in disbelief as his dagger jammed between stone tiles. I saw the confusion flash across his scarred face. The squire's retreat was cut short. A crushing invisible grip closed around his throat. My telekinesis rendered him powerless, neither his strength nor experience enough to resist. Instructing the artificial intelligence to record, I dragged the squire deeper into the warehouse. Every movement and reaction would be fuel for further potion improvements. His data appeared, stronger in speed than raw power, but already winded. With only 1.6 telekinesis, I overpowered him and felt my strength surpass ordinary squires. He eyed me, clutching his dagger, and spat, You're the young baron, aren't you? This was supposed to be a simple job. I didn't expect real dark magic. Without words, I flicked my hand. Telekinetic force latched on his ankle. He crashed hard, dagger spinning loose, and I caught it midair with a thought before he could recover. The family crest engraved on the dagger's hilt made it clear. Gus Pasha's vassal had come to confront me. Heraldry never lied about hidden allegiances or ordered violence. Ruthlessly, I pummeled his face with invisible fists. My telekinesis didn't bruise my knuckles, only his flesh. He couldn't defend, my power always a step ahead of his thoughts. 5 minutes later, battered and gasping, the squire lay sprawled and helpless on the boards. I hadn't even exhausted half my mental strength to subdue his resistance. If I mixed werewolf traits with this potion, I thought, even the best squires would fall. I demanded, Why did Gus Pasha send you here? What god do you serve? Breathing ragged, the squire confessed, I serve the great horned rat. The mayor asked for Gus Pasha's help. He sent me. Never expected you'd wield something like this. Years of church propaganda made wizards devils in the common mind. The squire looked at me as if plagued, horror outweighing his training. I knew my magic would haunt him. Gus Pasha's interference changed everything. Facing a formal knight meant confronting enemies whose stats doubled even my best werewolves. Real monsters, not mere squires or bandits. I spotted a glint under his coat, a hidden crossbow. With a simple gesture, telekinesis swerved the weapon, firing it straight into his own neck before he could scream. Turning as Warwick arrived, I ordered softly, Old Warwick, take care of the body. My pulse slowed, the messy violence was handled. Don't worry, it's only his blood. Afterward, I asked the artificial intelligence about the werewolf leader potion. The calculation process was finally near completion. My next breakthrough teased just beyond reach. Warwick swiftly stripped the body's chainmail. Practical as ever, thinking only of value and rewards. I admired his steadiness while my mind raced with new tasks ahead. The following week, I brewed more messenger variant werewolf potions, creating 10 new messenger werewolves. Our ranks swelled, but intelligence and control soon hit their natural limit. Even daily mental strength elixirs couldn't push me past 9.9. No matter how disciplined, my mana crawled agonizingly slow toward that essential milestone. I ached to break through at last. With formal knights in play, I halted all werewolf attacks on the caravans. Risking exposure would mean sacrificing pawns and possibly giving away the secrets of my own creations. Controlling the messenger werewolves strained both Warwick and Perla. 10 were already a handful. Any more risked chaos and potential bloodshed inside our own ranks. If desperate enough, I could mass-produce more. But no more for now. The messenger werewolves were loyal, but never far from becoming a liability with their wild instincts. 2 weeks slid by. Word arrived in Maple Leaf Town. Merchant guilds sued the mayor and invited me and the knights to court as jurors. I declined. I smelled a trap. What happened at the market? I asked Warwick, curiosity masking my wariness. He answered, a cult struck, killing merchants. The mayor's blamed, but the mastermind denied any guilt. The so-called terror cult ringleader claimed someone else inside him committed the murders. A convenient madness. Sometimes I think politics here is more dangerous than sorcery itself. 7 days passed since I last set foot in the Maple Leaf Town Council court, wariness clouding each moment. Warwick, ever loyal, brought disturbing news to the attic. Warwick recounted how Gus Pasha stormed the courtroom, detaining guild leaders and seizing all power for himself. Maple Leaf Town was now under his iron-fisted rule. To anyone paying attention, Gus Pasha's defense had become an excuse for invasion. The mayor had let a wolf into his home, and everyone knew it now. Warwick confided that Gus Pasha likely wouldn't stop at Maple Leaf. Even as a young knight, Gus had always set his sights higher than any baron's domain. Gently swirling the golden potion I just brewed, I told Warwick, let Gus Pasha enjoy his victory. Let him exhaust himself trying to secure this town. If Gus locked his attention here, his strength elsewhere would be stunted. With patience and growing power, I could let him clean up for me. Then strike when ready. Warwick nodded, trust shining in his eyes. To him a wizard, could never be wrong. His only task, guard the estate's borders for me with unfaltering loyalty. Warwick eagerly reported that 12 messenger werewolves now guarded every manor corner. No enemy could slip through. He'd made certain their pack senses would warn us. With a proud smile, Warwick revealed he'd picked up combat skills from Robert. His eyes sparkled, never expecting to feel so youthful again on the battlefield. Robert, once the mighty squire, struggled to match Warwick and Perla's rapid progress. Potions were cheating. His slow path as a storm knight suddenly seemed obsolete. Frustration finally boiled over. Robert exclaimed, if this is so easy, why would anyone train or worship the storm god? His conflict was raw, his loyalty real. Warwick, careful not to shame Robert, changed the subject with a warm laugh and praise for Robert's strength. Old rivalries faded under shared purpose that moment. Understanding filled me. The Storm Church feared wizards because we offered power without gods. Quietly, I reminded Robert that his skills made him irreplaceable here, his loyalty vital. Robert grinned at last. Protecting you matters more than my pride. He apologized, his voice steady. I knew I could depend on him at my side, come what may. With Warwick gone and Robert guarding the door, I gazed at the golden potion. A shimmering promise of transformation and power resting between my fingers. This was the leader variant werewolf curse potion, brewed at great cost. Emeralds, gold, and intellect blended into one shimmering brew. Its power could reshape my fate. AI, prepare to integrate my mana, I whispered. The system confirmed, its digital tone echoing in my mind. At last, I was ready to embrace real transformation. I drank. Warm, golden mana flooded into me. The potion, tailored by my own hands, harmonized perfectly. Sorrow, exultation, and agony flooding my body all at once. Agony racked every cell of mine, muscles shifting, bones stretching, fur erupting across my limbs. I fought to remember who I was, not lose myself to beastly rage. The phantom moon shimmered in my consciousness, day blending into strange night. The werewolf curse's genius was clear. Immortality, anchored to lunar magic, flowed madly within me. My height surged beyond 3 meters. Rippling muscle, beastly fur, and armor-plated flesh made me a living juggernaut. Every werewolf in the domain felt my presence. The urge to rage almost broke me, but I stood firm. The curse would never control my mind. Power was only a tool. I would wield it, not the reverse. AI, analyze my data, I growled, my mind blazing with new awareness as shimmering statistics filled the air. I hung between magic, beast and boy, wizard and wolf king. The numbers stunned me. Monstrous strength, steel muscles, a mind sharper than 10 men. I could crush an adult bull barehanded. Truly, this body was inhuman. Finally, I deactivated the virtual machine and let my beast form recede. My mind sharpened, but I stayed cautious. True wizardry required more than just physical might. My mental strength has exceeded 10 now, I murmured. The AI confirmed. As leader, my mind gained extra clarity. Wolfpack magic and code worked perfectly in unison. In the attic, I activated the virtual simulator. It was time to test if my new power allowed me to transform into a werewolf, fully, stably, and with complete control. Drawing a deep breath, I felt an invigorating surge. The moment my muscles bulged and my body expanded, metallic gleams tracing every curve. Golden rings ignited in my pupils. It was the moon's light, the lunar eclipse. The source of werewolf immortality whispered in every vein and nerve. My senses sparked awake, awareness deeper than ever before. From the window I saw details my human sight missed, tenant farmers working the slope below my estate. My world widened, all this land belonged to me alone. My steward Warwick oversaw the farmlands, dividing them among tenant farmers. I was free to pursue greater ambitions than mere harvests and daily management. Every sense was sharper now, hyper-attuned. I picked out the shape of each leaf 50 meters from me, intricate patterns burned into my mind by new eyes. By shifting the dilation of my golden pupils, my vision swept rapidly, adapting with almost dizzying speed. It was exhilarating to see this new world's detail. My hearing extended through the castle. From the attic, I picked out servant footsteps, maids gliding lightly, footmen thudding, distinguishing each by their weight and pattern. With training, I could identify individuals by footstep alone. I marveled at how my mind dissected rhythm, weight, subtle differences, already one with this new power. I breathed in deeply. Hundreds of scent molecules hit me at once. Emotions rode those scents. The fatigue, pride, and hope of laborers entered my mind through my senses. The data panel couldn't capture everything. Only with specialized sensors could the artificial intelligence interface measure a werewolf's heightened smell and hearing, so far beyond storm nights. A werewolf could even perceive chemicals that hinted at mood, detecting fear, hope, or joy almost directly. My alpha form wove the world's feelings into a rich tapestry. Staying in my alpha werewolf form, I triggered the wolf pack effect, and felt a new difference. My mental bond with my pack blazed stronger, more immediate, almost like physical touch. Emotions from my pack swirled in me, rage, relief, excitement. I discovered I could send intent back just as easily, without a word spoken. The connection was primal. I concentrated, transferring mana. Instantly, the werewolf at the far end of the grounds changed. Its eyes burned a deeper gold, aura intensifying as power swelled within it. The wolf pack effect seemed to work on its own. I intended to give mana and energy transferred to the neediest. If I drew mana, it flowed from the strongest. I tested, ordering 3 messenger werewolves to share mana with one. Their combined force made the receiver much stronger. Recovery, speed, and power rose sharply. Artificial intelligence. Calculate the boosted werewolf stats. The system's blue window displayed enhanced attributes and resistances. My creation now defied fire, silver, and death more than ever. Even transformed, my left hand pulsed with sacrificial power. The dream of fusing werewolf immortality with the sacrificial hand now lingered close, no longer mere theory, but attainable. Curious about my odds, I commanded the artificial intelligence simulate our strength against Gus Pasha. The interface crunched probabilities and generated a chilling report. If Gus Pasha fought alone, our victory chance jumped to nearly 90%. But if knights joined him or our weaknesses were exposed, the odds dropped sharply, down to 35%. Warwick had little insight on real knights. Robert was just a squire. Maple Leaf Town's council hid crucial knowledge, keeping me blind about knights' real capabilities. The world was more medieval than magical. No miracle priests, no sudden healing, just vague legends about gods. Overconfidence would mean disaster, not heroism. I resolved not to be reckless. Every move had to be calculated, no gambles. Success demanded patience, preparation, and absolute certainty. My ambition could not risk annihilation. Artificial intelligence, analyze how to make my werewolf army stronger. The AI's analysis delivered a clear answer. Leverage sacrificial hand potion to design a new werewolf formula. A potion to turn life force into raw physical might. A frenzy potion. The system worked ahead while I ordered refinement for the mental strength enhancement elixir +2. Casually, I lifted a mental strength enhancement elixir +1 and drank. My body returned to human form, then a surge of mental force hit me, far beyond anything prior. Placing the empty bottle down, I watched it pass through the table as if phasing. The edges blurred. Solid matter overlapped like hallucinations I couldn't trust. Artificial intelligence, explain this, I called. The system confirmed. My mental strength broke 10. Distortions and overlapping reality, these were hallucinations, side effects of developed mental force. A strange force beckoned from afar. Suddenly, the scenery twisted and folded, everything merging. Dimensions layered and collapsed around me, visions spiraling away from reality's edge. Suddenly, I felt my entire surroundings twist and ripple, the ancient castle vanishing. I stood alone now, lost in a gray wilderness scattered with tombstones and barren earth. Barren soil stretched around me, tombstones jutting upward, and the sky itself glowed with an unnatural full moon. Wolfsbane carpeted the ground, a strange, haunting landscape. I demanded, "Where am I, artificial intelligence?" The system responded, "This wasn't an illusion, but an auxiliary space, parallel to my original world, a hidden realm meant for wizards." I began moving forward, feet crunching on dry ground. From a high point in the wilderness, I peered out over the desolate expanse, gray mist blurring anything in the far distance. Ancient, ruined castle structures loomed far to the west, half lost in the fog. Their coffin-like shapes gave the skyline an uncanny, unsettling silhouette, hinting at forgotten secrets. A sudden chill ran up my spine. Someone stood ahead, wrapped in tattered black robes and holding a massive scythe. The figure radiated ancient, silent menace across the wilderness. I warily approached the altar's center, asking, "Who are you? Where is this place?" The scythe wielder glanced up, his voice ancient. "It's been long since a wizard was born here." The gatekeeper called himself Or and revealed, "You're the first second-class wizard apprentice to rise in 2,000 years. A miracle. I am the gatekeeper of the Gray Soil Cemetery School." Or explained that reaching second-class wizard apprentice status and entering the secret realm required both mental strength and mana. Here, wizards once built powerful hidden schools and legacies. Or's somber tone revealed the fall of the Gray Soil Cemetery School. The members vanished, old wizards stopped coming, and the realm withered as centuries of history faded into misty oblivion. According to Or, the secret realm was idealistic, a world where the mind shaped reality. Wizards of old established strongholds here, but their legacy perished over 2,000 years ago. When I questioned if wizards had ranks or sketched them, third-class apprentices with strong minds, second-class like myself, then first-class, official wizards, and beyond, those who achieved godlike powers. Or described official wizards as scholars wielding power akin to gods, restoring life, transforming death, outclassing the illusions the church accused wizards of wielding in ancient times. I pressed Or for information about wizards above official wizard rank. He confessed, the school never had second-ring wizards. All knowledge was lost, even he was just a creation left behind. While Or told his story, I secretly asked my AI to scan him, but as a guide made by wizard's magic, Or's memories were faded. 2,000 years of solitude warping even his sense of time. I pressed for why I'd entered the secret realm. Or explained, this realm arises like a shadow beside the material world, collective unconsciousness, given reality, where wizards' symbols manifest. He revealed that the wilderness, wolfsbane, and full moon embodied my own symbols here. I was different. Most second-class wizard apprentices never manifested such a vast and intricate domain. Or explained, in this place, my magic would be effortless. Casting spells required almost no mana. Here, every wizard left a symbolic mark. Mine was already larger than most would ever have. He told me wizards once fought to conquer and explore the secret realm, building bases and claiming territory. Now, centuries of neglect turned everything wild and empty again beneath the moon. Finally, Or faced me. If you had not come, even I would have vanished. Yet, as the first new wizard here in 2,000 years, you just might rebuild what was lost within these ruins. Sunan raised an eyebrow, listening intently as Or's words unfolded. I could sense the loneliness behind his story. This guardian wanted so much more than just a listener. Although I hadn't inherited the secrets of the Gray Soil Cemetery School, discovering the hidden realm itself was a worthy achievement. It meant no one could hide everything from me. "Is it dangerous to enter the mist?" I asked. Or's reply was sharp. He warned that venturing too far was akin to mortals lost in a primordial forest. Only ranked wizards dared try. Or explained how enhancing my mana could create mist-free zones, and how every Gray Soil wizard once expanded their foothold, carving order out of this strange world's chaos. Just then, the artificial intelligence finished scanning Or. The result sent a chill down my spine, revealing Or's soul was made from countless spirits, power vast and dangerous. My mind raced. The AI's analysis revealed new alchemy insights. Suddenly, I could envision potions for controlling wolf packs and even manipulating spirits themselves in the outside world. While I'd failed to claim the Gray Soil inheritance, piecing together ancient knowledge was enough. My mind spun with plans, charts, formulas, and endless possibilities for new potions. Suppressing my excitement, I questioned Or's intentions. If he truly wished for me to rebuild this world, would he help me now? His answer would define our bond and future. Or bowed deeply, reminding me I was the first wizard here in 2 millennia. His loyalty was clear. His only wish now was to see this land flourish, even if it meant serving me. With a steady tone, I accepted Or's offer of allegiance. There was a sense of relief, a dawning confidence between us. His faith made me believe we could truly change this place. Breaking the tension, I joked about casting spells in the wizarding world. I wondered aloud if luring law knights here would even the odds in my domain. Or's eyes narrowed in thought. Or explained that dragging outsiders into this world required a rare spell, Gray Soil Ashes, cast by 5 apprentices, no simple trick. For now, I'd need more practical strategies. Or warned me how Law Knight's greatest strength wasn't their bodies, but the inherited knowledge I lacked, his concern plain in every glance. I felt both gratitude and added pressure. Shrugging, I mentally compared wizarding methods. My own approach was data-driven and cross-disciplinary, likely odd to anyone raised in this ancient magical tradition. Or detailed law knights' codex prayer power, invoking the god of law, they'd declare their enemies' sins and gain exactly as much strength as those sins could justify. Hearing this, I frowned. Codex prayer? My enemies were storm knights, followers of a completely different god. I pressed for information, hoping Orr's knowledge could help. Orr looked confused. He knew nothing of the storm god, only recalling legends of a storm chieftain, patron of nomads who braved the wild lands 2,000 years earlier. Orr's account floored me. The Storm Church called their god holy, a symbol of civilization, but Orr remembered something far older, rougher, and dangerous: the Storm Chieftain. 5 years in the Storm Lands couldn't prepare me for this revelation. What the Church called sacred might be rooted in conquest, migration, and forgotten ancient ambitions. Most unsettling of all, the Storm Kingdom's history lined up with Orr's tale. Everything I'd learned was cast into doubt, unraveling the world I thought I knew so well. Even stranger, the god of law stopped answering prayers a century before the Storm Kingdom's founding. What else had all these lost deities concealed beneath their masks of glory? When I first stretched my fingertip into the rolling realm mist, it felt like every sense scattered. Even the smallest movement made me lose all orientation, dangerous as expected. Based on Orr's strength readings and the AI's analysis, one needed mental strength of 20 or more, first-class wizard apprentice level, to safely navigate even a step into the mist. Regret tugged at me. If only I could reach those castle clusters shrouded by the gray soil cemetery mist. Orr's presence alone had taught me so much already. Boosting my mental strength was urgent. I needed the mental strength enhancement elixir +2 recipe finalized fast if I hoped to crack the cemetery's true secrets. Recovering Maple Leaf Town could wait, a minor errand compared to mastering these powers. In this world, real strength underpinned every ambition or plan. Returning from the secret realm, I found myself in my castle attic, only to be confronted by Robert, whose shocked eyes darted between me and the now empty room. Robert stammered about odd noises. He'd come to check, only to find me suddenly materializing behind him, safe and sound. "Don't worry," I said. "All's well." As a lord, I saw no need to reveal the realm's secret. Robert seemed relieved and bowed, quietly closing the attic door behind him as he left. Summer waned in the Storm Kingdom's 57th year. For a full month, I toiled to perfect both the Frenzy and the Control Wolf Pack potions, till 15 vials of each were ready. Loot from the Maple Leaf Town merchant caravan covered all my resource needs. Warwick, reliable as ever, organized the wolf hunts for potion ingredients without delay. I ensured that every major werewolf, myself, my messenger, and Warwick, consumed both newly perfected potions. Our transformations grew sharper, stronger, more controlled. 4 new powers now unified our pack: Steelclaw, Wolfsbane, Control Wild Wolves, and Frenzy, each gift setting us further apart from human and beast alike. Inside the attic, I asked my artificial intelligence for progress updates on my next breakthroughs: Super Werewolf Potion, Mental Strength Enhancement Elixir +2, and the mysterious Spectre Potion. The AI's clinical report: Spectre Potion at 67%, Mental Strength Elixir +2 at 37%, and the Super Werewolf Potion a mere 8%. More wizard data was the only shortcut. The Super Werewolf Potion would mark a new tier, a universal upgrade for every werewolf attribute. Yet not even a prototype existed. The leap was monumental. Converting my mental strength to mana, I'd reached 10.2 in both stats, 10.7 when transformed. But progress now slowed. Each step past 10 took exponentially more effort. The elixir capped out at 15 mental strength, a mortal tier potion, while my werewolf curse formula rivaled third-class wizard apprentice power. Advancement demanded ever bolder theories and visions. Still, if my theory core was strong enough, even a third-class potion could rival higher ranks. No wizard here matched the versatility my artificial intelligence enabled. Potions elevated my magic and greater power opened more doors. The loop between study and strength fueled my unorthodox rise, no matter who or what I might face. Descending from the attic, I consulted the AI about my upgraded pack's odds against the Storm Knights. Warwick awaited news beside me, nervous but hopeful. The AI's estimate: if Storm Knight's prayers had no unknown effects, my werewolf force, empowered by Frenzy and Wild Wolf Control, had a 100% victory chance. Warwick brought urgent news. Maple Leaf Town's guild leaders and families had arrived, seeking my protection. Taking them in might anger Gus Pasha, but I was unbothered. I scoffed inwardly. Gus Pasha could protest all he liked. With my army's power rising, the Storm Knights posed little threat. I was even tempted to test my force. From my window, I saw the storm of anxious servants and fleeing guild families spilling across the lawn. The powerful now sought refuge under my growing shadow. As Warwick's servants greeted the leaders, merchants, and their families tumbled from their carriages, hope and desperation in every hurried step. eyes scanning for reassurance. Whispers spread. Did Sunan truly agree to shelter us? Only he has the strength and the storm god's blessing to defy that devil Gus Pasha. The servants nodded, sealing the deal. With relief, the town's elite poured out thanks. I watched behind castle glass, certain soon everyone, enemy or ally, would learn exactly what it meant to seek my protection. Savory scents filled the grand dining hall. I watched the wary leaders and merchants, once proud, now displaced. Their stolen comfort was fragile, resting in my hands alone. Beneath my measured silence, invisible force radiated outward. Most couldn't sense it, but my mental strength soothed their unrest, calming minds frayed by fear and uncertainty. I observed key figures, the guild leaders representing Maple Leaf workers, and Piage, wealthiest merchant besides the mayor. Together, their fortunes once forged the town's prosperity. Piage finally broke the ice, voice respectful and uncertain. He recalled my father's kindness and the safety he found under our roof, weighed against long-forgotten debts. As Piage's words lingered, each leader murmured complaints about Gus Pasha's brutality, stories thick with fear, bitterness, and the scars of betrayal cut deep into our town's fabric. The textile guild leader recalled a massacre, vendors slaughtered because Gus Pasha paid too much, barbarity disguised as justice. My eyebrow arched. Why, was all I needed to ask. Ease, the carpentry guild leader, explained how dissent was stifled and hope choked out of the streets. She wore men's attire, her gratitude barely masking resentment. Though Yeez was grateful for sanctuary, her tale revealed the truth. Gus Pasha's rule squeezed the town dry, the mayor's cowardice driving them into my hands at last. Their escape puzzled me. A storm night could easily catch them, unless Gus Pasha, for some twisted reason, wanted them to flee. Had he sent pursuers merely as a show? I weighed Gus Pasha's methods, blunt, unyielding, always brute force first. My instincts screamed he wanted to test me, to gauge the knights that lingered in my shadow. The baronial title was always the real prize. Gus Pasha's schemes meant little. He was focused on the crown I wore, while I aimed for battles beyond town walls. My attention shifted. Maple Leaf's collapse gave me perfect grounds to test my werewolf army. Soon, real strength would answer the empty threats that circled beyond these halls. Grateful but anxious, Lees pleaded to notify the royal family in the Holy Empire, hoping more Peter family knights could end our troubles. I offered only a silent, non-committal, I left them in that uncertainty, climbing to the attic as the scheme took root in my mind. Maple Leaf Town would be the proving ground for the pack I led. Confused, Ease turned to Warwick, the old butler, desperate for guidance. Warwick, all patience and knowing smiles, offered an answer. Military might was never our true shortage. When Warwick revealed that to Lord Sunan, Gus Pasha has never been a problem, Ease's shock mirrored the others. They realized we weren't seeking favor. Their regret came too late. But Piage caught the real meaning in Warwick's words. His merchant savvy sparked a golden opportunity. He sent for coins and a maiden, hoping to buy my favor before it was too late. Upstairs, I relied on the wolf pack effect. Across the estate's border, wolfhounds caught foreign scents, strangers clutching steel, crossing my threshold. Their fate would be our lesson. Within the wolfpack tether, I sent a single command to my lead hound: attack. Rip them apart. Tonight, I would gauge my army's deadliness against unwary foes. Just before the wolves surged, I invoked the system. Artificial intelligence, record and analyze all combat through the wolfpack effect. Label this wolfpack file number 4. As data streamed in, my thoughts sharpened. Tonight's violence would serve as experiment and warning both. The outside world would soon glimpse a new order rising. Riding through the misty outskirts, I watched Warren Pasha's disciplined soldiers and the jittery militiamen pause before my family's castle. Everyone tense with expectation and fear. Warren Pasha, younger brother of Gus, wore a predator's grin as he mocked my family's decline, openly claiming our home would soon belong to the Pasha clan. Without hesitation, Warren notched an arrow and fired, his challenge clear. The arrow struck our castle gate, sending the trembling gatekeeper running to sound the alarm. Even after years as a knight squire, Warren's skill surpassed most men, if not in title, then certainly in deadly archery. Consider that a greeting, he boasted. Beneath the bravado, objections rose. The militia captain warned that the Storm Church treasured protocol. Such boldness risked their wrath, not just the castle's defense. The tension snapped as horses shied. Warren cursed, arrows flying at a shadow barely glimpsed through the forest. Only the 7th arrow found its mark. With one arrow lodged in the figure's arm, Warren's eyes shone. But the target's speed only increased. I could almost taste the unease blooming within his ranks. Warren declared, "That must be the young baron's knight squire Robert, after him." Bugles blared, 30 soldiers and 30 militia launched in pursuit, ambition burning in every stride. The chase led Warren's band deep into tangled green, vines clawing at riders until, sudden pain and a terrible scream, one soldier jerked back, blood pouring from his arm. Warren's laughter rang out. He thought he'd uncovered the culprit behind the caravan raids. The enemy's attacks are weak, not lethal, no need to fear mere scratches. Warren called for a rectangular phalanx, 10 wide, 6 deep, with militiamen behind. He believed tight discipline would blunt any squire's advantage, and victory was certain. Lost in dreams of conquest, Warren scanned the trees, convinced his strategy would break us. But a high-pitched cry shattered his ambition with sudden hysteria. The wounded soldier had transformed, bloodshot eyes, bristling hair, and a wolfish snarl, slaying his teammates until cut down himself. Terror replaced discipline in every gaze. Disoriented, Warren barked frantic orders, only for a streaking shadow to leap from the trees, leaving 3 more soldiers slashed and writhing before vanishing. Now I could feel Warren's dread. He realized we weren't killing, just waiting for them to go mad. And nothing he'd done had truly wounded the monster. Sweat dripping, Warren ordered his men to kill their wounded. I felt the chill in his words. Soldiers hesitated, horror at the thought chilling their resolve further. The phalanx cracked under the weight of confused loyalty. I watched from atop my castle tower as Warren's disciplined unit crumbled in fear and slashing madness. My messenger werewolf darted through battle. Using wolfsbane's venom, I manipulated panic. Berserk mutations breaking morale as planned, chaos blooming at my command. Now my next test. Could the messenger werewolf summon wild wolves? It let out an ear-shattering howl, and glowing eyes appeared all through the darkened woods. All around, wild wolves surged from the shadows, driven by the messenger's will. Fighting for their lives, the routed soldiers braced themselves against an unstoppable wave. From the safety of my tower I watched the field writhe below. Wolfsbane had worked perfectly, every test culminating in savage chaos. Now, only the aftermath remained. Wolves exploded from the tree line, scattering soldiers who'd once stood firm. As the first infected men began convulsing, chaos shattered their phalanx, and panic took hold. The messenger werewolf, hidden till now, burst forward. It flung itself at the soldiers, venomous claws opening wounds, and shock rippled through the ranks. For an instant, Valen and the captain simply froze, numbed by the hideous wolf-man standing brazenly in sunlight, its claws dripping venom onto the earth. Valen gripped his sword's hilt, muttering a rushed prayer to the storm god before barking, "Disperse! Scatter!" Desperation edged every syllable as order dissolved into flight. Formations crumbled as the monster drove wolves into their midst, claws spraying infection. The captain wheeled his horse, but fate wouldn't grant him escape. Trying to press his panicked horse forward, Valen struggled with the reins, until the messenger werewolf locked eyes with him. The animal nearly bucked him off. I watched as Valen's horse refused his will. He leapt free, rolling aside just as the beast's claws slashed down, then drew 2 arrows and let them fly. Valen's arrows struck true, pinning the messenger werewolf to the earth. His squire's strength transforming a bow into something like a siege engine. For an instant, Valen seemed victorious. Then the messenger werewolf tore each arrow free, howling in rage, blood running, but something burning even hotter in its eyes. How can a monster like this even exist? Valen's voice shook, confusion and terror mixing as the beast yanked out blood-slicked arrows, seemingly impossible to kill. Watching from the attic window, I viewed all through Wolfpack effect. Deep within that power, I sensed the potion's soul-level command, controlling every wolf's instinct. Controlling the wolves felt simple, but the horse, though afraid, resisted. For the squire, Wolfpack effect simply made him fight harder, more savagely, unable to flee. With most enemies already neutralized, I prepared my final test, sending a messenger werewolf to clash with an elite squire, eager for combat data. Go forth, my loyal servant. As Valen dueled the messenger werewolf, dagger flashing, breath ragged, I watched his stats appear on my interface. Strength 2.3, Speed 1.9, Constitution 2.3. He was formidable prey. My calculations were validated. Valen was stronger and faster than any squire before him. Yet claw met dagger, and the messenger werewolf began to lose ground. Valen seized the momentum, bow in hand again, he loosed his arrow straight through the werewolf's eye, piercing its skull. Victory seemed all but certain. But horror struck. Slowly, impossibly, the messenger werewolf reached up and drew the arrow out of its skull. Valen stared, soul racked with terror and disbelief. I felt Valen's resolve shatter. Did Baron Peter breed such horrors as hounds? Was only the Storm Church strong enough to face creatures like mine? Valen tried to flee. The messenger werewolf's irises shifted to burning red gold, his wounds closing. Frenzy triggered, blood boiled, and power surged through every sinew. The beast charged. Trading wounds without pause, it grew stronger as Valen faltered. Blow by blow, the fight devolved into savagery. Both combatants locked in brutal attrition. 3 agonizing minutes passed. Messenger werewolf battered Valen against a tree until it splintered, then pinned him, claws raised to ensure there'd be no return. Valen Pasha fell, one of the family's brightest pillars ended by my hound's claws. In death, his story closed with a gaping red wound beneath a blood-dark sky. By my order, the hunting hound ripped through rib and sinew, tearing Valen's heart free for collection. This was alchemy. This was science at its darkest edge. From my attic vantage, I told the artificial intelligence, the squire's heart neared a knight's. This abnormal mutation could be key to more advanced potions than ever before. The artificial intelligence confirmed, wizards and knights are the realm's greatest anomalies. This heart may open a door to breakthroughs, opportunity pulses, even as dusk chokes the battlefield.